So for the side of the bus pre-trip, we're going to work from top to bottom, left to right, just like we have been. Starting at the top of the bus, our clearance light is the right color. It's not cracked, damaged, or missing. It's working, and it is the right color. Our emergency exits are all clearly marked. They're not cracked, damaged, or missing. They're completely legible. We're going to move down to our windows. My driver's window and all the student windows, we have to do them completely separate. So our driver's window is secure. It's not cracked, damaged, or missing, and all the seals are in good shape. Moving down to all of our student windows, they are all secure. They're not cracked, damaged, or missing, and the seals on all of those are secure. We're going to move down here to our fuse box. Anytime we open the door, you got to check it. It is secure. It's not cracked, damaged, or missing. Our fuse box, we don't see any signs of any burnt fuses. There's no burnt wires. There's no frays. There's no nesting. Everything looks secure in here. It's not cracked, damaged, or missing as far as we can tell. And we're going to shut the fuse box, and we're going to make sure it's secure, and it is. This is another fuse box. We check it the exact same way as we did this one, and I can do that if you'd like. They're probably going to say no, but if they do, don't forget to check your door. There's 2 latches on the top. That simply folds open, and it literally gets checked the exact same way as we did the top one. And then when you shut it, we'll make sure that that door is secure. We're going to check our reflectors on the side of the bus. Any lights or reflectors other than our stop sign. If it's in front of the rear duals, it needs to be this amberish orange color. If it's behind the duals, it needs to be red in color. Our stop sign, we're actually going to grab a hold of the unit and tug on it. It's secured to the bus. It's not cracked, damaged, or missing. All of our nuts and bolts are all in place. The stop sign itself is open like it's supposed to be because our door is open. It's secured to the bus. It's not cracked, damaged, or missing. All of our lights are the right color. They're not cracked, damaged, or missing, and they're all working. We're going to move back to our side light or our turn signal. It's secured to the bus. It's not cracked, damaged, or missing. It's the right color, and it's working. And then we're going to move to one of the harder spots of the bus, and we're going to start with what we can see. The tire itself. We're going to check the tread depth on the front of the front tires. They cannot be any less than 4/32. The tire treads need to be nice and even, worn nice and even. The sidewalls cannot have any bulges, abrasions, or bruises on it. And we want to check the tire pressure with our valve stem, making sure that it's secure, it's not cracked, damaged, or missing, and that the cap is in place. You also want to make sure that there's no recap on the front. We can have them on the back, not on the front. And both of our front tires need to match. Not necessarily to the back tires, but they need to match each other. The rim itself is secured to the bus. It's not cracked, damaged, or missing. There's no illegal welds on the rim. All of our lug nuts are secure. They're not cracked, damaged, or missing. There's no silver flakes or rust trails showing that they're over or under tightened. Our hub is secure. All the nuts and bolts are secure. None of it's cracked, damaged, or missing. And we can check our fluid level on this by wiping off that sight glass and checking to make sure that the fluid in the hub shows full, and it does. And then it's got fluid in it, so we need to make sure that it's not leaking, and it's not. On the back side of the tire, things that you can't see but we have to talk about, I always start with the air brake system. So up at the front of the bus, we have our air compressor. It's secured to the bus. It's not cracked, damaged, or missing. The air compressor is gear driven. We want to make sure that it's not, there's no audible leak. From the air compressor to the air tanks, we have lines and hoses. They all have to be secured to the bus. They can't be cracked, damaged, or missing. And again, no audible leaks. Our air tanks are under the belly of the bus. We want to make sure that they're secured to the bus. They're not cracked, damaged, or missing. And again, no audible leaks. More hoses and lines need to be secured to the bus, not cracked, damaged, or missing. They lead up to the back of the wheel where we have our brake chamber. That is secured to the bus. It's not cracked, damaged, or missing. No audible leaks. From the brake chamber, we go to the push rods and the slack adjusters. The slack adjusters cannot have any more than 1 inch of play. Ours are automatic, so they adjust themselves. But if you needed to check them, you could chalk your wheels, go in and release the emergency brake or the parking brake, tug on that, and it should not have any more than 1 inch of play. If it does, you need to take it in to see a mechanic and not drive it. From our push rods and our slack adjusters, it goes into the back of the drum to a lining, and that lining cannot be worn dangerously thin. And then our brake drum itself, this unit here on the back side, we want to make sure that the inside where that brake lining is, it's nice and smooth. There's no grooves, no grease, and no debris. So that's the entire air brake system. Then we're going to move into the frame and the cross members up underneath the bus here. You want to make sure that those are secured to the bus. They're not cracked, damaged, or missing. They're nice and straight. We're going to look at our leaf springs and our leaf spring hangers and the U-bolts and the castle nuts and make sure everything is secure, nothing's cracked, damaged, or missing. After our leaf springs, we can see our shock absorber. Make sure that it's secure at the top and the bottom. Make sure it's not cracked, damaged, or missing, and it's not leaking. We're going to check our tie rods and our axle and our tie rod ends. Tie rods, tie rod ends, and axle on the back side of the wheels. They need to be nice and straight. They can't be cracked, damaged, or missing. I think that's it. Then we're going to move to the mud flap. It needs to be secured to the bus. It can't be cracked, damaged, or missing. Our battery box. The door is secure. It's not cracked, damaged, or missing. The battery itself is secure. It's not cracked, damaged, or missing. I don't see any nesting. I don't see any frayed wires. There's no sign of burning. No excessive corrosion. And we're going to close that door, and again, make sure that it closes securely, and it did. We've already talked about this reflector, but this is our school logo, our decal on the side of the bus. You need to make sure that it's completely legible. It's not cracked, damaged, or missing. And they don't need to know this, but for your information, we don't have to have a license plate on the rear of the bus because we're owned by the state of Kansas. This is our license plate. That's why it's so important that we make sure this is completely legible. They know all that. All they need to know is we're checking to make sure that it's secure, not cracked, damaged, or missing. Moving to the back of the bus. This should be a huge indicator of the next thing we need to check. I like to do things in groups. Our exhaust system and our drive shaft both run down the belly of the bus underneath. We want to make sure that they're both secured to the bus. All the hangers are secure. Nothing's cracked, damaged, or missing. And we're looking for soot trails on our exhaust system to make sure that it's not leaking. The rear duals. When you talk about the duals, you need to reiterate that you're talking about 2 tires. If you don't talk about that inner tire, they're not going to give you credit for it. So both tires have to have at least 2 30-seconds tread depth. Again, the tread depth needs to be worn nice and even. All 4 rear duals have to match. They don't have to match the front, but they have to match each other. The sidewalls cannot have any abrasions, bulges, or bruises. We can have recap on the back. We cannot on the front. We check the air pressure with the valve stem, and again, it's secure. It's not cracked, damaged, or missing. The cap is on secure. Our rim is secure. It's not cracked, damaged, or missing. There's no illegal welds. Our hubs are all secure. They're not cracked, damaged, or lug nuts, excuse me. Lug nuts are all secure. They're not cracked, damaged, or missing. No rust trails or silver flaking. Our axle cover is secure. It's not cracked, damaged, or missing. All of the bolts are secure on that as well. We can look in between the duals through the holes in the rim and check and make sure that there's no debris, rocks, twigs, anything like that, something that would cause fire. I don't see any debris between the duals. There is also a bud spacer between the duals that keeps them at a nice even spacing so that they don't rub together or wibble wobble while we go down the road. And that hub is secure. It's not cracked, damaged, or missing. Then we would check actually from the front or the back, and it's actually easier to do on the back of the bus, but talk about it here. You want to make sure that you can see space between the tires, that they're not rubbing together on the ground down there from the pressure of the bus, the weight of the bus. Again, we have leaf spring hangers, and U-bolts on the back as well. They need to be secured to the bus. They can't be cracked, damaged, or missing. We have shock absorbers and airbags on the back of the bus. They're not cracked, damaged, or missing. The shock absorber has a fluid in it, and we want to make sure that it's not leaking. Again, checking the top and bottom. And the airbag obviously has air in it, so we're listening for an audible leak. We have an axle that runs between the wheels. It's not cracked, damaged, or missing. It's nice and straight. Again, checking the cross members and the frame and cross members underneath it here to make sure they're nice and straight. They're not cracked, damaged, or missing. Mud flap is secured to the bus. It's not cracked, damaged, or missing. And then we're going to move to the back of the bus. And the last thing we're going to check is our red reflector. It's secured to the bus. It's not cracked, damaged, or missing. And then we'll move to the inside of the bus. Done.